After I finish a sketch, I will start my painting with details, and I will divide my paintings on three parts. And the first one I'm gonna start on wet. I wet all the paper and start with ultramarine blue on a horizon to the horizon line. And horizon lines where my hills are, not mountains. Mountains gonna be blue in some points, so I am keeping it wet and very very light blue on it. So if I have puddles of blue that I want to avoid, I will dry it out with my paper towel. On the top of my paintings it's gonna be more blue because it's called zine effect, and I create sort of like a little bit of cloudy day with my paper towel. Just push the wet painting and pull it out. Wet on wet, it means I have it on a brush. Barely I have my colors. Mostly the brush is wet, and so I create very very soft environment on the back. So it's what I want. I want to have it very nicely done sky. Now, after I paint the sky, I will do the hills with ochre, and I took the fan brush just because it's fast and easy to use, and I will turn it on the sides. And of course I get the water first on my hills, very carefully to the horizon lines. I don't want it to mix with blue, because if I mix the ochre, remember you're gonna have green, and I'm not ready to green color yet, so I got ochre and a little bit of burnt sienna mixed together, and apply to my heels fast with fan brush. So here we go, applying the skin brush. While I was applying the color on my heels, the kind of brown yellow color, my sky is dry, and so I am ready to work with my mountains. And the mountains are bluish gray color, and I mix together blue and a little bit of black. Sometimes I will use violet, light violet color, so I will create a different shape and different color of the mountains. So I took a different brush and I apply wet on wet again, but very very fast, and I try to avoid the puddle. Remember, the puddles are looking badly, even though I'm leaving on the top of the hills. I am leaving sort of sharp edge because they're gonna look really sharp against the sky. So I got the edge of the mountains first, and now I soft it up, go into inside of the mountains. So mountains, some mountains are in front, some mountains are on the back, and so I try to create that diversity of the desert mountains on the back. You've probably seen it driving to Las Vegas from Reno. Now I am going back to the hills. See, the mountains are staying there, and the hills needs to be started. When I was doing the hills, I didn't pay attention to the drawing of my cactuses because I still can see the little outlines of the cactuses, and I didn't want to leave the white space between the hills and the cactuses. Now I like to make a hills a little bit greenish. It's probably springs in my desert, and so I get a little bit of the top green color that is not overlap completely my ochre. It's gonna be just a little bit on the top, like you can see in a desert when the bushes are slightly green. So that slightly green color goes on the top, and to finish it, after I finish it, I'm gonna look to the cactuses, the last things I will do. Also, I was working very loosely. Now I get some little details, and when my hills have grass, it's not gonna be
Meanwhile,
sharp
my
edges like
mountains
on mountains
dry,
on the
and
back.
I will
So
try
I
to add
turn
a
my
little bit
brush a
different
little bit
color
on the
because
side
mountains could be
and
different,
get
and so I will
details on the
add a
green
little bit
grass.
darker color
Now
where
I'm
I
getting
said it's gonna
details
be
on
overlapping.
my
So
mountains on the
here
back
is a
as well,
one that
making it
will be
sharper, and some
coming
mountains gonna
closer
stay
and
in
will
front.
have
So
some
I
kind of
make a blue
um,
mix
different
with
different
black again
values,
and violet,
and I will
and
have the
getting it
different
carefully to
values.
the front
This
of
one
some.
was in the
So some
back, it's
mountains
very
in
pale,
front,
but
some in the
this one
back.
gonna
Make a
go and
varieties
get
of mountains,
closer
and
and
they
get
have sharp
sharper
edges on
maybe
the back.
edges.
So it's
So
what I'm mixing
I
right
will
now
get some
before
sharper
I will
edges,
mix my
and I
cactuses.
always like to add there because I know it's a desert mountains and it has a little bit of burnt sienna on a mix, so I will get
Now
a
I took a
little
bigger
bit of
brush,
burnt
the
sienna
square
on the
brush,
mix.
and get a
Don't
little
think
bit
about
of ochre
maybe
color
on
on a
the
brush. It's still
mountains that
a
I
wet brush,
created
but I
before, the very
control it.
pale,
It's
I will
not
get a
running too
little
much,
bit of
and
burnt
I'm getting
sienna as
ochre.
well.
With ochre, I want to marry the color on my heels and on my mountains, so it's gonna be a little bit of variety. And also remember, the mountains that stay to the front gonna have a little bit warmer color, so it's what I did with ochre color. And I turn my brush on the side, I turn in different directions, so I make different brush strokes and different opens on the mountains. Now it's time to get to the cactuses. As you can see, I took a smaller brush, the smaller I have actually, and started to get the cactuses. And as you remember from the past, we did the cactus with two sides, shadow side and light side. So I'm fixing that first on each cactus and make it as fast as I can, but still it's a little bit sharper because cactuses have three dimensionality, and it's the biggest part of the desert, so I'm getting it sharper and darker, and then the thorns on a cactus is faster with small brush. So all of my cactus is gonna be almost the same. I try to make the cactuses on the back the less details, because as you know, the atmospheric perspective is calling for that. And I will include one more cactus. I looked at my composition, and I kind of like to make a big cactus in the front, and it will come in. So the time for the bigger cactus and the more details in a cactus, shadow and light, I make them the same, but you can make them 3 or 4 kind of hands goes out of cactus. You can make a flowers on a cactus if you like to. As you could see, I made a smaller cactus on the back heels that are showing on a distance, and I will finish on that composition. And the last things I do, I will add a little bit warmer color, which is a burnt sienna for me on the heels, just to create that is closer. Remember the warmer color get your heels closer, and cooler color on the back, the bluish color on the back will get it far away. And here I am with my painting. Thank you for watching.